All right, so it's been nearly 3 weeks since championship weekend and the NASCAR season ended, and I've had a really rough time wrapping my thoughts around and trying to put them on a video. I've recorded and then re-recorded it too many times for me to even bother counting, but the reason this video didn't come out sooner was because I got so many things to say and I wanted this one to come out as close to perfect as possible because I never felt this way. I've just never had. In my 20 years as a NASCAR fan, I've never felt so conflicted over what I just saw happen that Sunday at Phoenix. So, to put some context to it, you know how from time to time I will always interpret the words earned and deserved as two separate terms, and I will occasionally echo the phrase, all titles are earned, but some drivers deserve to win more than others in any given season. And with the advent of the elimination style playoff format, I feel that phrase has rung true more than ever before, as more often than not, the format has produced champions that were not the best driver that year. And just last year, we bore witness to statistically the worst champion in Cup Series history, which just, in my book, adds more validity to what I just said, that all titles are earned, but some drivers deserve to win it more than others. But as contrarian as I may sound, and as undeserving of a champion that Joey Logano was in 2024, I was eventually able to accept it for what it was because he took advantage of the rules that were in place at the start of the season. Granted, the rules and the format were and will always be bullshit, and we'll get into that later on, but it's safe to say Logano earned his title, just like he earned 2018 and 2022. Now, he didn't deserve it more than say, guys like Kyle Busch or Harvick in 2018, or Chase Elliott in 2022, or Larson and Christopher Bell in 24. But he played by the rules of the format and was rewarded. Again, the format is stupid, but you cannot blame the driver for abiding by those rules to find success. He played the system, okay? He played the system. He earned his title. Was he the most deserving? Hell no, but it is what it is. What happened on Sunday, however, might have been the first ever time in my history as a NASCAR fan where I felt that the right guy won. I mean, Kyle Larson, he was 100% a deserving champion if you look at his overall numbers for the season. But he won it in a way that doesn't feel earned or satisfying. Like, he deserved his title, but under this championship 4 style format, it feels like he didn't earn it because he was top 10, barely a top 5 car all race, and he didn't lead a single lap, you know. He was just good in a format that encouraged drivers to be great when it matters most. And I've seen some people say, oh, now everyone is defending the playoff format because Hamlin got robbed of a storybook ending and Larson backed into it instead, and NASCAR fans are hypocrites and don't know what they want. Bro, you're completely missing the point. No one is defending the playoffs. And I'm saying this or bringing this up because I changed my mind all of a sudden. No, it's the complete opposite. As a matter of fact, I hate the playoffs now more than ever because now watching the right guy win, it doesn't feel satisfying anymore. And to show you what I mean, check this out. These are what would have been the full season points entering the final race of the year. You see William Byron leading Larson by 11 points, Christopher Bell still in contention. The title would have been between those three pretty much under a full season points format. Of course, I know this is all hypothetical and that they would have raced differently, but I'm just trying to prove a point. Now, let's assume, for the sake of my argument, let's assume that the race on Sunday plays out exactly the same way it did from start to finish. The entire landscape and sentiment around this race, and especially the finish, it will completely flip. Because instead of fans being outraged and feeling pain and heartbreak for Denny Hamlin losing out on what would have been an elusive first title, we would have a dramatic closing laps because William Byron, he would have been 3 laps away from securing a title, but he blows a tire while running in the top 3. He was top 3 pretty much the entire day. Kyle Larson, then he takes 2 tires in a gamble for more track position. to make sure he has enough points to overtake Byron, because he entered this race 11 points behind. And if you look at the first two stages, if you add up the stage points, Larson, he didn't score as many stage points as William Byron did. I believe Byron scored like 18 stage points on that day. Larson scored 13. So at that point, Byron had Larson beat by 16 points. All that he had to do was finish the race. But of course, then he blew the tire, and the ensuing overtime produces an awesome battle for the win between Blaney and Keselowski. And Blaney gets the better of Brad at the last second, and he finally breaks through at a track he had always been good at, but he never won. Phoenix has always been Blaney's best track, okay? But he had never won, so for him to finally break through and win, and for that win to never be acknowledged because of the Championship 4 battle, that's another frustrating thing. You see what I mean now? When you look at the finish of the race from a full season points perspective, that 2025 season finale would have been remembered more fondly among NASCAR fans as one of the more dramatic finishes in series history. Well, unless you're a William Byron fan, of course. But most importantly, Kyle Larson's title would have felt more earned and satisfying than what it actually was. And also, people would actually be paying attention to Ryan Blaney, because I'm pretty sure there's people out there who still don't know Blaney won this race, and it's still... that kind of pisses me off still, because Blaney, like I said, Blaney had always been good at Phoenix, but he had never won. So imagine you being Ryan Blaney, you finally break through for your first win at Phoenix, a track you've always been good at but never won, and then that win is overshadowed by the Championship 4 battle, because that's literally what the entire broadcast talked about. As good as the NBC broadcast was, and this is not just on NBC. This is just dating back to 2014 when this format was introduced. They put way too many focus on the Championship 4, and even if a non-Championship 4 driver wins, like Ross Chastain in 2023, he won't get enough coverage as he should be. And this year it was even worse, because Blaney won the race and he didn't even get a single... I believe he got like a couple of posts on social media, but everything else was about, oh, Kyle Larson winning, Denny Hamlin heartbroken. And that is the problem I have with the playoffs and why I hate them more than ever now. Because it's one thing when you win a title you didn't deserve, like Jesse Love did on Saturday. But again, at least that title felt earned, because Jesse had arguably the best car of the Championship 4 guys. So I wasn't mad at him. He did his job. He played the format and got rewarded. He earned his title, okay? Even if he wasn't the most deserving, even if he wasn't the best driver that season, he played the format and got rewarded for it. He earned it. However, when a driver like Denny Hamlin, or even William Byron to a lesser extent, they do everything right. They shine when the lights are the brightest, like Mamba would say. And they still miss out on a championship because of a freak accident, like a blown tire, that leads to the race being decided on pit strategy and a 2-lap shootout where anything can happen. And the eventual champion is someone that didn't even win the race or led a single lap. Someone that was deserving, because, again, let's face it, Larson scored the most points out of anyone this season, playoffs or not. He is a deserving champion. No one is debating that. But he didn't earn his title, or his title didn't feel earned in a way that looked rewarding or satisfying. How can you even celebrate that or even defend the playoffs saying, oh, the right guy won this time, you can't be mad, bro? Shut the fuck up! To put it in simple terms, deserving drivers screwed out of potential championships is one thing. I can deal with that. But when an actual deserving driver wins a title in a way that didn't feel like they earned it, we have a problem. The playoffs, and more specifically the one race Championship 4, they have messed up the sport so much to the point that the actual deserving champion doesn't feel earned anymore. I really hope NASCAR finally opens their eyes and realizes that one race championship needs to go now. Keeping it for just one more year will do more harm than good at this point. Thank you for watching.